Hi, it's Shannon here from houseimprovements.com. We're back out at the cabin build, and today I'm going to put the house wrap on the walls. I know I don't have the roof on yet. I usually do wait till the roof is on, but we've been having so much rain I just thought it'd be a good idea to have these walls covered up because it's going to be a week or so until I start getting the rafters on. So I went and picked up some Tyvek. That's one of the that's one of the common brands around here. Tyvek, Typar are kind of the two most common in my area. As far as the brand goes, I don't really care what you use. Just get what's good and easy to get and local. My rolls, what I've got here, they're 9 feet tall and they're like 100 feet long, I believe. I think they do 900 square feet. And in our case, with our walls here, that works out just perfect because we've got an 8'1" wall. And then I also ran the plywood down, if you watched some of the other videos, so that it covers the rim joist. So it we end up being like, I guess I can tell you, I think we end up being like an inch under 9 feet. Well, we're actually an inch over 9 feet. So I'm just going to keep the top edge down 1.5 inches or so, and then we should be good. So with house wraps, sorry, this makes a lot of racket. I don't know if it's picking up on the microphone or not, but with house wraps, basically you stretch it out on the wall and you can hold it in place with staples. And a lot of the manufacturers recommend a staple with a plastic cap on it. The cap's, I don't know, the size of a quarter or so. The problem with those caps is they also are about 1/8 of an inch thick. And I find, depending on what kind of siding or whatever you're putting on over it, sometimes those caps are a bit of a pain. So what I normally like to do is I just use standard staples in a hammer stapler. I use 3/8 staples, wide crown. And I put it on, I try to only put it on not too far ahead of when I'm going to do my siding and that sort of thing. In this case, it's going to be on for a while before I do my siding. So I'm still going to use my staples. The reason they recommend the ones with caps is the wind doesn't rip through the staple as easy with the cap on as it does without the cap. But in my case, what I'm going to do is I'm still going to just use standard staples, but I've got all kinds of scraps of the OSB kicking around, so I'll rip a few scraps and put a few scraps on the wall just to hold it in place. It's going to mean a couple more holes in the wrap, but I'm not as worried about that. So even if I get the odd hole from the screws they're holding these straps on, I can just take some of the tape that you need, just standard house wrap tape, and just cover those holes, so not a big deal. So I'm gonna staple with standard staples, like I said. Use the straps to hold it in place anywhere where I think it's gonna kind of come loose. But normally your stapling is marked out right on the wrap itself. So in this manufacturer's case, they've got these red dots where they recommend stapling with the caps. So I'm just gonna use a few extra staples as well, since I'm not using them. You can cut this stuff just with a standard utility knife, not a big deal. Any laps that are vertical, you want to lap by about 12 inches. And any horizontal laps, you know, like if you're doing 2 rows on a bigger, taller house or something, if you want to go about 8 inches. Alright, so to get started, like I said, I'm going to leave my sheet down, 1 inch, 1.5 inches or so. You can see my top plate up here. My plywood's already down about 1 inch. So probably if I line up with that, I'm going to be all right. We'd prefer to have the house wrap go at least to the bottom of the OSB on the walls. If not, it can even hang by and you can trim it off after. So to get started, I'm just going to lift it up and get one staple going over here in the corner. And then I'll stretch it out a little bit, get my line going where I want it to go, and get a few more staples in. Okay, so I put a few in that corner. And we'll just stretch out a little ways, get our height kind of where we want. If it's really windy, it's a pain in the butt and you'll want another person, but we luckily actually have no breeze today back here. So I'm just rolling right over the window opening. And then I'm just going to roll a little extra out and put my roll out of the way down here somewhere. Okay, that was really noisy. Now I just want to basically get it so there's not a whole bunch of wrinkles in it. I just want to get a few tacks in here before the little breeze we do have gets a hold of it. Just trying to get a hold of it with this scaffold in my way. So when I come around again from the other way, like I said, I'm going to lap over this at least 12 inches onto there. So you probably can't see it, but here's my window opening. Right to there. I'm just marking this out so you can see it easier on the camera. I can see it because of the light filtering through, but I'm not sure that you can. Just gonna get a couple staples over here. Okay, I just did that so you get an idea where the window is. So obviously we don't want to put any staples in there because there's nothing to staple to. But I'm going to staple around the perimeter of the window. I'm not going to put too many in the top here, and I'll show you why in a few minutes. Okay, so we've got it's secure around the window. Maybe I'll go down the corner now. Okay. So you can see we've got I mean, it's a little loose, but there's no wrinkles or folds or anything in it, and preferably that's what you want. The idea of the house wrap is so any moisture that gets behind your siding or your stucco or whatever you're doing can hit this surface and run down to the bottom without getting in contact with the wood. It also stops some air movement as well, but it's breathable yet. So now we've kind of got our perimeter, other than the very bottom, all tacked. So now we can go back and start filling in all our red dots. And like I said, I'm going to put a few more in. You can see these two rows down here are probably, oh, I don't know, around 2 feet apart, something like that. Okay, so I'm going to put a row in between there because I'm not using the caps. Where is it? Okay, so here's our row there. I already stapled. I got to go between. Okay, so you just continue all the way down your sheet just like that, including along the bottom. Now what I want to show you is a couple different options on your openings when you're cutting them out. What most people show doing is basically, actually I can draw it on there, is they show wrapping part of this wrap inside the opening. So they're going to cut like this, and like this, around 6 or 8 inches, like this, and like that. Okay? And then they're going to take those flaps, roll them inside the opening, and staple them in. I don't really like that. I just feel like that's just creating a space for that any moisture that gets behind your finished product into the house. What I like to do is actually cut it about 1 inch short of the opening, or away from the opening, all the way around. And then when my door or window goes in, I put a good exterior bead of caulking, or sorry, let me rephrase that. I use a good exterior caulking, and I put a nice generous bead right onto the plywood or OSB or whatever you're doing, and put it all the way around, and I set the window or door into that caulking to make that seal. You can then tape your, with that house wrap tape that I showed you before, you can then tape your house wrap to the edge of the window. Like a lot of times you'll have a nailing fin, a piece of vinyl fin around there, so you can tape to that, that's fine. But I like the fact of having a bead of caulking around the opening and the windows, and I know that really there's hardly any chance water's getting past that bead of caulking and into your opening. Okay, so that's what I like to do. Now another thing you can do, or what I recommend you do, is you make a cut up here like this, up onto the wall. And what that does is that allows you to, you cut this off, this gives you a flap, so that once your window's in, if you've got a nailing fin, that flap should come down onto the nailing fin and be sealed. So it's directing water down, out onto the fin already, and then around the window. Because if you just leave this either tucked behind the fin or taped to the fin, there's more chance you're going to get water coming in from up top around your window. And it may not get around your window if you're caulked like what I do, but it has the chance to get behind here now and rot out the plywood around the window. Now this obviously takes a lot of years and you're not going to notice right away, but it's definitely a thing. I've changed a lot of windows, and you find all kinds of damage to the plywood from water infiltration. So you definitely want to create this flap, okay, that comes down over either over the window flange, or if you're doing something like vinyl siding, this would come down and go over top the drip cap. That's a vinyl piece of drip cap, or it could be aluminum, that you put over top the window. And that helps, again, direct the water out and over. Okay. I'm not actually cutting my smaller openings like this out, just to try to keep rain out of the inside as well. On the bigger ones, I haven't decided if I'm going to cut them out or maybe put a couple of 2x4s in the opening to staple to, just to kind of steady this so it doesn't get flapping in the wind. But for sure these smaller ones I'm not cutting out. So, but I did want to explain your different options for what you needed to do around the openings. So once you get it all stapled, and you then go around with your house wrap tape and tape any joints. So like I said, if you have any vertical joints, you need to have them lapped and taped. Okay, if you have any horizontal joints, they should be lapped and taped as well. And on horizontal joints, if you've got a tall wall, you always want to start at the bottom row, put it on first, and then put your next higher row on and overlapping the bottom. So if this was let's just say this was the top of this sheet, or of this house wrap, and I was bringing along another row up top, I want my piece to lap down, like I said, that 8 inches or 6 inches over top of this lower one, and then tape the two together. Okay, you don't want to tuck it under, or you're just creating a place again for water to find its way in. So that's about all I can really show you on this video. Again, like I said, yes, Tyvek stamped all over this product. I'm not endorsed by them. They didn't give me any product. I don't really care on the type of house wrap you use. This is just one that's readily available in my area. So please smash the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We've got tons of videos on this cabin project. And not only that, before we even started this project, we had over 400 videos on our channel. So if you can't find what you're looking for on our channel, then make a comment below. Let us know what you want us to see doing a video of. So thanks a lot for watching.